You know how they say that news reporters have one of the best jobs because they can be wearing pajama bottoms or just underwear and no one would know? Well, they're not the only ones, baby! But what is going on, my peeps? Welcome back to a brand new Buzzfeed test. Today we're doing something that has been requested over and over and over and over again by you guys since it came out. It's the giant cinnamon roll, and ever since I did the giant Charleston Chew video, I've kinda been avoiding most giant things for a while, but we're doing this today, so let's get right into it. So guys, there are a few different parts of this recipe, and we'll go into each one of the individual ones in a bit, but I just grabbed some unbleached flour and baking soda, some cinnamon, 2 cups of milk, some salt, sugar, 3 sticks of butter, some active dry yeast, and brown sugar. Begin with 1 of your sticks of butter, a half cup, and melt it down in the microwave, and then to that add 2 cups of warmed whole milk. After you add a half cup of your white sugar, you can give that a stir until all the sugar dissolves. I then just sprinkled on 1 packet of my active dry yeast and let this set for a couple minutes, but really no longer than 5. Now in an entirely separate bowl, I pre-sifted 4 cups of that unbleached flour and then just dumped it on top of my wet ingredients. I'm so used to adding my dry ingredients slowly, so this just feels wrong. But once all of your ingredients are combined, you can set a clean towel on top of that and let it sit for about an hour. Afterwards, you're going to want to sprinkle on 3/4 of a cup more of flour, 2 teaspoons of salt, and then a teaspoon of baking powder. And just kind of fold those ingredients into your dough. And after a little bit, you can dump it out onto your countertop along with a bit more flour just so nothing sticks. Now, I'm not sure if you guys can see this, but I started discovering little bits of baking powder or yeast that didn't get incorporated or dissolved, but I kind of just picked those out and kneaded the rest together the best that I could. And once you're able to form a round blob, I started to roll it out with my rolling pin. And surprisingly, this was actually pretty easy to work with. It kind of rolled out nice and evenly, it wasn't too elastic. And now we could just whip up our butter and brown sugar mix that's gonna go on the inside of our cinnamon roll. I should stress that it's very important that your butter is softened when you mix this, or else it'll be a nightmare. And then you could just simply begin to spread everything out across your dough, and it was at this point I realized I've rolled the dough out way too thin. There's just no shot I'm gonna get my sugar mix to coat this entire square of dough. So I spread it the furthest it would go. I kind of cut off the extra dough at the top, and then just cut it into 4 strips and started rolling. Now, I warn you, if you do not cut these 4 strips perfectly even, it will be a nightmare to roll up, as you can see here. The dough kind of stuck to the counter in some spots. It was way too thin in some spots. All the sugar and butter started getting all over my hands. I tried to cut off the extra dough on one side so it would at least have a flat side. And once I kind of had a very ugly looking cinnamon roll rolled, I grabbed an 8-inch wide round cake pan, spread it with some spray, and plopped it down in there. Now my thought process here is, judging by how much Tasties rose in their video, hopefully this will rise enough to kind of take up this whole pan. And after I let this rest for another 30 minutes, I put it in a 325-degree oven for an hour and 20 minutes. Afterwards, I took it out, let it cool, and this actually surprisingly looks amazing, so I'm gonna let it cool for a while while I work on this third part. Let me see what's involved. Hold on.
So we're gonna take the 4 ounces of cream cheese, put it in a bowl with 2 tablespoons of melted butter, 2 tablespoons of whole milk, a teaspoon of vanilla extract, a cup of powdered sugar, and then mix the whole thing together. It looks and smells disgusting as expected, so I'm gonna leave it to the side while I cut myself out a piece of the cinnamon roll. We have achieved a final product, so let's try it out. I feel like I'm getting closer to being Rob every single day. So I can get this damn thing off without ripping my hair.
Now I'm gonna admit, this is not the piece that I cut in the clip that you just saw. It's a different piece. That's why it looks so much better and put together. And it is only right that I try a piece of the cinnamon roll alone, with nothing on it. I'm just prolonging this, if you can't tell. That is absolutely fantastic. 10 out of 10. Hope you guys enjoyed. Oh, I don't want to. I'm gonna put a little dab right on the end. Ugh. It's so gloopy. Ugh. I'm sure you'll all be shocked to hear that the taste is not that bad. You don't really taste the cream cheese that much. It's just the texture. It's like way too thick. If you guys are gonna try to make this, you better add some more milk or something to it. Or just don't make it at all. Just make this, because that's really good. Overall, I am gonna have to give this one an 8 out of 10. I feel like a Michelin man in this or something. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, smash a like on this. Let me know what you want to see me try next week. I'm probably going to put out 2 Buzzfeed videos in 1 week, either next week or the one after that. I'm not entirely sure yet. But other than that, have an awesome weekend, and I'll see you right back here next time. Peace! I feel like Superman and Clark Kent. Instead of working in an office and being Superman, I work in a laboratory and I'm Flannel Boy.